this video, I'll give you the best wide receiver strategy for 2024 fantasy redraft leagues. I'm Jim Coventry of Rotowire. Draft your receivers early and often. There's nothing like getting a group of wide receivers, high floor, good ceiling, maybe great ceiling. They anchor your lineup. All positions get hurt. I just feel so much safer that the majority of my wide receivers are going to stay safer and healthier than my running backs. It's the way I lean. So early, if you're drafting in late first into the second round, there are three receivers I really like. Obviously, I'm passing up if you're going to draft one of the superstar receivers in the first round. Of course, you don't need me to tell you to draft your players like your Amon-Ra St. Browns, your Jamar Chases, your CeeDee Lambs. Of course, we know that. If you get those early, great. Go ahead that route. That said, once those pass, A.J. Brown, averaging 1,475 yards, 96 catches in 2 years with the Eagles. I expect the situation to be better this year. Last year's coaching staff, Brian Johnson, the coordinator, offense just did not work after week 8 when Brown was on pace for 2,000 yards. I think that this year Kellen Moore can pick up where that first half left off. A.J. Brown is one of the best receivers in the game. Just needs the right scenario. And I do believe in this new offense, that opportunity will come this year. This is going to be a year where actually 9th, 10th, 11th pick, A.J. Brown's a steal. Drake London is another player, if you miss out on Brown, who you can attack early in your draft to anchor your wide receiver. Now, London, look, the targets have not been good. 110, 117 under Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith's gone. Zach Robinson comes in from the 49ers, Rams, Shanahan, McVay, all the tree there. So we know they know how to use their wide receivers. So that Rams scheme, London is going to be great here because London can be moved in the slot. He's huge, but he can play in the slot. He can get yards after the catch. Going to be very well schemed up. Kirk Cousins throwing him the ball. Drake London should go from that 110, 117 targets to that like 140-ish range where we love to see our top receivers. Chris Olave, people are sleeping on him as well. Olave seemed to be nicked up a bit last year. When I saw him on the field, he was often not quite right, battling through things on occasion. Decent enough season, about 1,100 yards. It wasn't bad. But that said, Derek Carr's his quarterback. But first of all, Derek Carr can't support a high-level receiver. Devontae Adams had 1,500 yards 2 years ago with Carr. So it can happen. Now, Olave this year, new offense, Clint Kubiak. They're going to run a lot of play action, which gives Carr that extra nanosecond of time because he needs time. But also, Olave ran a lot of these go routes straight up and down the field last year. It wasn't working. There was no time to throw. In this offense, that X receiver is schemed open on slants, getting him open quickly, off the play action, quick strikes. Olave is perfect for this. Olave is on a great spot to break out. He is a superstar player. Also, you could probably double up one of these receivers in your draft with one of the following receivers. Nico Collins. Now, Nico Collins had almost 1,300 yards last year. He did miss some time. And, there's a little bit of worry about Stephon Diggs being there. Look, Nico Collins is the perfect receiver for the Bobby Slowick offense. We want those slants. We want those overs. He is dynamic with the ball in his hands. He is a perfect weapon for that offense. And we've even seen him produce at a high level on moderate 109 targets. Targets may not go up a lot, but this player in this offense is going to continue to be super efficient. Jaylden Waddle is smoking up draft boards too. He had 1,350 yards 2 years ago. Last year, if you watch the games, Waddle was always limping around the sidelines. He missed some time too, but he was always looking banged up. So he barely gets over 1,000 yards, 1,100 yard range right in there. It wasn't a great season, but got to assume health here. And Mike McDaniel, the head coach, is very good about scheming his receivers into space. Again, back to that 49ers, Rams offensive cycle. That's the kind of offense we're looking at here. And Jaylden Waddle will be optimized. And the passes Tua Tagovailoa can make are these quick hits to players like Waddle. Waddle can get back on a 1,300-yard track this season, and maybe even there's room for more. So Jaylden Waddle excited. Also, Brandon Aiyuk. Look, when this video is being recorded, he's in the process of being possibly traded. Wherever Brandon Aiyuk goes, he's a superstar. He gets separation among the greatest in the league. He and Keenan Allen, different players in their career, but they are so amazing at getting open in a nanosecond. Aiyuk's going to be utilized wherever he goes. And Aiyuk is a player who should be able to produce. 13 1,300 yards last year. 49ers, remember, they don't use the same receivers every week. Debo got the ball. Kittle got the ball. If Aiyuk even stays there, though, we at least know we can have a 1,300 yard in that system. So wherever Aiyuk goes, people might start to sour on him. Ayuk's an elite player. Don't forget that. DJ Moore, people are completely sleeping on him. They've let his ADP go down. I don't think people realize in NFL terms, DJ Moore's a legitimate top 10-ish type receiver. He can do everything. He can win at all three levels of the field. When the ball is accurately thrown, he's a running back with the ball in his hands. Last year, his yards after the catch were not good because the passes were inaccurate. And thrown behind you, or up high, well, you're not getting yards after the catch on those. DJ Moore's a superstar. So these are players you target early. Get a couple of these. If you enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the Rotowire Fantasy Football channel on YouTube. Also, you can check out all of our fantasy football rankings and content by getting a free 2-day trial with no credit card needed. Just head over to rotowire.com/Jim. You can check out all of our content. Now, there's another level of receiver I would like us to look at. And maybe depending on draft, you can get 1 or 2 of these as well. You'll have to get 4 good receivers coming out of this draft. So, Amari Cooper. Deshaun Watson is expected to be the quarterback, but don't sweat it. Amari Cooper, first of all, has averaging over 1,200 yards in his 2 years with Cleveland with bad quarterback play. But last year, with Watson, Cooper had at least 90 yards in 4 or 5 games. In only one of those games, he had double-digit targets. Cooper has a great rapport with Deshaun Watson. Chris Godwin moved back to the slot this year. Liam Cohen comes in to coach. Last year, Godwin played too much on the outside. That's not his game. Godwin is a devastating slot receiver. Remember, Liam Cohen coached with Sean McVay. If Cohen draws up any type of offense the way the Rams drew it up for Cooper Kupp when he was in the slot, oh my gosh, Chris Godwin could go insane on the stat sheet for us this year. That said, Baker Mayfield has a history with slot receivers in the 2 healthy years in Cleveland when he had Jarvis Landry. Landry had almost 1,000-yard average per season. So he already shows he can work with a slot. Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown is staying fairly lower in drafts. Hollywood Brown is a phenomenal receiver. He has some injury issues. I get it. All right. Understand. There's a little risk with that. But Patrick Mahomes with Hollywood Brown's ability to get open also. Plays break down. And who buys time better than Patrick Mahomes? He buys time. He looks downfield. And Hollywood Brown has always been that receiver. He knows where and how to get vertical when a play breaks down. That is going to be a magical fit with Mahomes. And then Christian Kirk. Consider him in this range. He's a floor play, but high floor. He was on pace for almost 1,200 yards last year before he got hurt. So, and the year before, he wasn't far off that. So we're looking like a 1,200-yard receiver at this point in the draft. There's a lot of merit to that. Brian Thomas may have got drafted, but last year they had Calvin Ridley, and Kirk was still eating. Kirk's an excellent receiver. League plays 73% zone defense. 3 receiver sets. Kirk's in the slot. Leverages zone extremely well. And then in the end game, try to get 1 or 2 of these guys. Final out your receiver group. Michael Wilson of the Cardinals. Michael Wilson had over 50 yards in 5 of his first 8 games. Clayton Tune and Josh Dobbs at quarterback. Wilson came back from an injury late last season. First couple games, he did nothing. But his last 2 games of Kyler Murray put up very good numbers. Michael Wilson's a good player. Darnell Mooney of Atlanta. Late pick again. Look, Drake London, Kyle Pitts are going to draw a lot of coverage. Mooney has great speed. Mooney was in a dysfunctional offense the last 2 years. Mooney's going to see some downfield work, some in-motion work, not much attention on him. Kirk Cousins, it's a good spot for Mooney. Wan'dale Robinson. Wan'dale Robinson had a bad year last year. He was recovering from an ACL. But after the Week 13 bye, Wan'dale Robinson had his only 3 games of the year with 55 or more yards. Before the bye, 40 was his top number. Yards after the catch, 69th percentile, but that was based on the whole season when he was still like not himself. He's a beast after the catch, and he gets open quickly. Defenses will focus on Malik Neighbors. Wan'dale Robinson's going to get a lot of looks. Finally, consider Jalen Polk late. I know the Patriots have a long lineage of missing on their draft picks. New regime. Jalen Polk taken in 2nd round. They're going to need a possession receiver. Could be a little more than that, but he could see a lot of targets. New England's defense, a lot of people say they'll be great. Bill Belichick's gone. Maybe the talent's great, or maybe it was good talent and Bill Belichick put him in the right spot, optimize him. A new coach, no matter who it is, isn't doing what Belichick did. Belichick was the greatest. So that said, this is your wide receiver plan for 2024.